Today, we're going to talk some more about the pre-tribulation prophecies. Pre-tribulation prophecies, what a thought, what a concept. Bill Salus and Tom Hughes are here, and they had the concept, and I'm glad that you did, guys.
It's great to be here, Gary.
Bill, it's great to have you here. You've been with us, of course, many, many times before. We are watching. I've never heard such conversation as I've heard lately about the rapture. The rapture is near, and I hear more and more people saying that. And if that's true, then we should be seeing something. What should we be seeing?
For myself, when I look at it, and after teaching Bible prophecy for many years, we look at, there's many different signs. And the biggest sign is the nation of Israel, but then we have the convergence of all the different signs that are taking place. Over 800 signs regarding the second coming of Christ can be found in the Bible. So we look at all of them converging. Just for one example, one little detail. In Ezekiel 38, God is talking about whoever the leader of Russia is when that invasion happens, Gog and Magog during that invasion. Ezekiel chapter 38 says that Gog, the leader of Magog, will be a guard for the nations that are going to come against Israel. So you have Russia and the leader of Russia being a guard right now for Iran, for what will become Turkey in the invasion, a guard in the area of Syria, just north of the northern border of Israel. They've entered into a relationship with Sudan. They're a guard for Sudan, who's going to come up from the south. And you look, you go, God is so specific about tiny details. And there's many other things you can go into the Bible and look at how specific it is, which causes me to believe that the rapture could take place at any moment, and we need to be ready.
In other words, what you're saying is, if these things, which are post-rapture, are so close to us, then where must the rapture be?
Oh, absolutely. What people forget, especially Christians that may have been involved in Bible prophecy, is the signs in the Bible are not signs of the rapture.
Yeah.
The signs are the signs of the second coming of Christ. Jesus comes at the end of the tribulation period. That's when he comes back. In the rapture, we go up. At the second coming, he comes back and we come with him. So the signs are for the second coming. So if we're watching these things all now develop, then we better be ready, because listen, that rapture could take place at any moment.
It could. And of course, we've been talking about that for years, but any moment and any near moment are two different things, and there are people now saying it's near. Not just any moment, but it's near. And you know, I have sort of have that feeling myself, and maybe I shouldn't have said that. I gave myself away, but hey, I'm looking for the soon return of the Lord Jesus Christ, and proud of it. It's a remarkable thought to have. Now, Bill, let's go back to the idea of pre-tribulation prophecies in general. You've been working on this. In fact, you've been working on this little time zone, the time that surrounds the rapture and just beyond. You've been working on that for a long time.
Right. There's prophecies that I believe will happen before the tribulation, hence pre-tribulation events. The rapture, we all agree, is one we're pre-trib rapture believers. It could happen at any given time. None of the prophecies we put forward in the DVD, the Pre-Tribulation Prophecies DVD, have to precede the rapture, although some might. A dear friend of all of ours, Chuck Missler, who's since passed away, he used to say, when you see all these end time signs converging, it's like when you go to the mall and you see the Christmas decorations are out, you realize that Thanksgiving is coming around the corner. In other words, you know, we see that the things coming that could be the end of the beginning of the tribulation, into the tribulation, then the rapture is before that. So it'd be like Thanksgiving coming before the tribulation. So
yeah, that's a great metaphor. We all are in the habit, I think, since childhood, of when's it going to happen? When's it coming? When, you know, and you ask your mom and your dad, when's that going to happen? Well, I can't tell you right now, but you know, when Uncle Fred comes, then a little bit after that, we're going to do this. Well, when's Uncle Fred coming? And we're all put together this way. We're constantly looking for not just signs, but changes in society, little clues. And I think Christians lead the way for that kind of thinking, because we know that our Lord is going to come from us naturally, or for us. Naturally, then we're constantly testing the waters. Now, you guys have gone just a little bit beyond testing the waters in your DVD, and again, it's called the Pre-Tribulation Prophecies, and very, very worthy, very worthwhile, very timely. So where do we go from here?
Well, you know, we put together the series because we really believe that people need to know what in the world is going on now, but also projecting into the future.
Yeah.
What's coming up? What can people look for? And then after the rapture takes place, those who are left behind, what can they expect to see? And there's several things that we know from the Bible that we can expect to see. Gary, I look at it like this, and I hear it a lot from other pastors. They say, why do you teach Bible prophecy? I mean, you would think right now more than ever, pastors would be saying, hey, we need to be teaching Bible prophecy.
Yeah.
But what's happened in the coronavirus era, I find really interesting. I used to get invited to speak at other churches a lot just on prophecy. You know, I would say, okay, well, I have Sunday church at my own church, but yeah, so I would go and speak at this church or that church. After coronavirus hit, those invitations from those churches that were interested in Bible prophecy before, they plummeted. And I liken it to this, that prior to the world that we live in now, with all these crazy things that are taking place, Bible prophecy was theory to them, so it was fun. But now it's become real. And so people are afraid of these things. Well, listen, we've put together this package not so people would be afraid, but so they would be very aware of what to look for. God gave us the Bible prophecies so we would understand. He wants us to understand. He didn't give us the book of Revelation, for example, just so he would look down at us and go, I'm going to give him a book to really confuse those people down there. He gave us the book so we would understand. In fact, Revelation chapter 1, verse 3, blessed are those who read, hear, and keep the words of this book. He wants us to know these things, and it's not just the book of Revelation. It's the entire Bible, which includes all of the prophecies regarding the second coming of Christ. Daniel wanted to understand them, and he couldn't. And the angel said, that's not for you to know. That's for those to know during that day. God wants us to understand. So we did this series so that people could understand, even people that are left behind could understand, so they can look and go, aha, wait a minute. They talked about this is going to happen. We're watching that happen, and this is going to happen.
It seems to me that among other things, you're talking about trends. And I'm looking here on a list, and one of the things to watch for is unrestrained supernatural satanic deception. Now, I'm watching this. You are too. And we're seeing a decided change, a trending in the direction of the dark side. And we say, oh no, wait a minute, why is this happening? And what can we do to stop it? Well, maybe it's not our job to stop it, but to recognize it because we know where it's headed.
Yeah, I love the way you put that. I don't think it's our job to stop it, but it is to recognize it and to point it out. We're supposed to point it out. 1 Timothy chapter 4, in the last days there will be doctrines of demons. So we see that the first sign that Jesus gave to the disciples when they asked him, what's the sign of your coming and the end of the age? Be careful that no one deceives you. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, God says, I will send them strong delusion so that they will believe the lie because they would not receive the love of the truth. I believe this world is radically deceived right now. But the deception that's coming and what Bill and I talk about is going to far exceed where we are right now, to the point of great delusion, so much so that Jesus even said himself, if it were possible, even the elect would be deceived.
You're talking about 2 Thessalonians 2, this unrestrained supernatural deception.
Yeah.
It says that Satan will at some point no longer be hindered. We would associate that with the disappearance of the church. At that point, right in the aftermath, I mean, he's not going to wait for any period of time. He's going to come out with all guns blazing. He's been preparing for 2,000 years.
But I would ask you, do we not see the precursors of that right now?
Oh, yeah. Satan's hiding in plain sight right now. I mean, It's clear with what's going on in the world and that sort of thing. But people may not realize that supernatural deception, all signs and lying wonders, is actually starts in the pre-tribulation period.
Yeah.
As soon as the rapture is gone, he's going to come out with supernatural deception. And he has to, because the world's going to go, what just happened to all these Christians? Right? He's going to have to put forward some reason why, non-biblical reason why all these Christians disappeared. That's why we've got these prophecies listed in the pre-tribulation prophecy DVD, so people who get left behind can go, well, this is going to happen, or this just happened. And it gives credit and merit worthiness to the DVD and the prophecies. They can start saying, well, no, this is supernatural deception coming on now. This is really what happened. My mother really did get raptured. It wasn't some space age, scientific alien thing or whatever, like they're propagating out there, whatever it may be. So, we're trying to give a roadmap to people in these DVDs of what can happen now. It's a prophetic documentary is basically what it is, with slides and B-roll and things like that, footage. So it's more than just a little interview or a teaching DVD. It's got a lot of things to offer to put the viewer right into the DVD, right into the world that we're living in right now.
Now, there will be a revival, and I'm not sure we can call it that, but some kind of a revival after the rapture, because there are tribulation saints. Meaning that, and by the way, we don't have to spend a lot of time understanding how it begins, but meaning that there will be some kind of a revival, and that revival may depend on information left behind for them before we're gone.
Yeah, we talked about this in the first show we did on this DVD about the censorship that is already here on YouTube and the social networks. And we know that it'll certainly be, afterwards, it'll be even worse. Like Tom had said in the first show, there probably won't even be an online Bible application available to read. That's why these Bibles we have here in this DVD and these works like this will be tangible things that the people left behind can get their hands on to understand what's going to be going on. Remember, man does not live by bread alone, but by every word of God proceeds out of the mouth of God. We're trying to get people to know you're going to need spiritual food. You need to know this stuff right now, because your survival, especially after the rapture, is going to depend on your ability to understand what God's word has to say about the times you live in.
By the way, I want to mention, before too much time rolls by, that we at Prophecy Watchers publish a magazine, The Prophecy Watcher, and I want you to know how you can get your own subscription.
Each month, the Prophecy Watcher magazine arrives in thousands of mailboxes all around the world. Our newly expanded 48-page magazine features cutting-edge articles written by the top prophecy experts, writing about things that you may never hear about in church. Gary Stearman, Mondo Gonzalez, L.A. Marzulli, Jeff Kinley, Jack Langford, Bill Salus, and many others. Examine the giants of Genesis 6, the future wars prophesied for Israel, the rapture of the church, prophecies about the Antichrist and the tribulation, the rebuilt Jewish temple, the book of Revelation, transhumanism, artificial intelligence, and so much more. You can subscribe to the digital version of the Prophecy Watcher for $20 a year, subscribe to the print version for $30 a year, or for a very limited time, we're offering a lifetime subscription to either the digital for $100 or the print magazine for $150. It's the gift that just keeps on giving. Call the toll-free number on the screen or visit our online bookstore at prophecywatchers.tv to take advantage of this limited time offer.
And thanks very much for your aid and comfort and support for Prophecy Watchers. We're going to keep putting out as much information as often as possible from now until the time that Tom is talking about. Tom, you really, I think, are passionate about this thing. I mean, this is not just, I'm studying this because it's in the Bible. This is something you feel.
Oh, yeah, I absolutely do. Gary, there's no way I would do what I do if I didn't actually believe it. So I look back to when I first got saved, and Bible prophecy was a huge influence on me. In fact, it was Bible prophecy 10 years before I got saved that got me interested in the things of God. And then I ended up getting saved, and Bible prophecy was already planted in my mind. But I know that, listen, I know that this is true. And because I know it's true, I believe all of the prophecies regarding the first coming of Christ. I know every bit of the Bible is true, and I need to trust it. I ask people all the time at church, I'll look at the congregation, I'll say, do you believe this is true? And they'll say yes. And then I say, okay, well, let's see how you do today with this lesson, right? And we tend to cherry pick what we like in the Bible.
Right.
But the problem is, it is all true, even the parts that we don't like, and that means all of the prophecies of the second coming of Christ are true. Therefore, I am very passionate about it. I absolutely believe I have two callings on my life, spiritual callings. One of them is to be a pastor, and the other is to be a watchman, which I would say the three of us are. And because of that, I'm going to be a faithful watchman. I'm going to say things that might challenge people. The Bible prophecy does do that, but we are to understand it too.
And I want to just stop you right there, because we are entering an age when if you say the wrong thing, your access to an information network might just terminate. And this is a strange time to be alive for Christians. We're thinking, well, can we really say what we want to say, or do we risk getting canceled?
Well, I have been terminated a couple of times, and right now I'm in this place of being threatened with a permanent termination from the airwaves. But I look at it this way. The Bible tells us, New Testament tells us that Satan is the prince of the power of the air. I think he's the prince of the power of the airwaves. But still, technology is marvelous, because programs like this get out there, and the gospel still gets out there. So my main goal then is I don't want to get canceled. I don't want to get censored. I want to make sure I get the gospel out there. But the interesting thing about Bible prophecy is it proves that the Bible is true. And the things that we talk about in the DVD, the things you talk about here, we see all these prophecy things lining up, beginning to take place. Hence, because of that, we can know that the prophecies were true of Jesus' first coming, that anyone who believes in him will not perish but have everlasting life. And Bible prophecy, rightly understood, gives hope. Because as Bill said earlier, listen, if you don't understand Bible prophecy, or at least have some understanding of it, this world has become very hopeless to live in. As you look at all of the different things that are taking place, it's like, oy vey, how much worse can it get?
Yeah.
But when you understand Bible prophecy, you realize, oh man, Jesus is coming.
Okay, Bill, your turn. Where do you want to drop in after Tom said what he said?
Well, we're talking about very specific things in Bible prophecy.
Yeah.
The Lord did not spare any details. There's a whole lot of events dealing with nations and populations that you're hearing about in the news right now. I'm going to go through just a list of some of the things we cover on the DVDs to tell the viewers what they're going to learn from this DVD that's really well produced. There's going to be a disaster in Iran. Well, Iran's in the news. That's the elephant in the room in the Middle East. A destruction of Damascus. That's the capital of Syria, one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities of the world. Goes back to the time of Abraham. We get into the toppling of Jordan. Egypt's in prophecy, the final Arab-Israeli war. When's that going to end? It won't necessarily be politically brokered peace deal. Looks like it's going to be a military conflict resolved militarily. We get into those. The expansion of Israel and the aftermath of that. The exceedingly great army of Israel. We're seeing them come to life now after wars.
Let me interrupt you right there and say that very few people are aware that Israel may, in fact, be the #1 nuclear power on planet Earth, because nobody knows what they have. They're very quiet, but they have always said from years ago that they were very, very well prepared.
Well, we point out on the DVD that it is Israel, and Isaiah 17 verse 9 says there's desolation caused by the children of Israel in that day, in the day that Damascus is destroyed. So it looks like the Israeli Defense Forces, and it says on Isaiah 17 verse 14, One night you see Damascus, you see him in the masculine pronoun. In the morning, he is no more. That sounds like a nuclear blast that Israel is responsible for, taking out a major Arab city. That will be big news, and so we cover that also on the DVD. We also get into the rapture, which you're talking about here, the vanishing of the Christians, the emergence of the greater and safer Israel that is involved in Ezekiel 38. Russia's coming down with its troops for the plunder and the booty. But then we even get into the stuff that could happen in the gap, like, the famines and the pestilences and the arrival of the Antichrist and the supernatural deception, the building of the temple, the third Jewish temple, the confirmation of the false covenant that starts the tribulation. We cover all these items and more on this 2-disc DVD set.
And so, someone who hasn't even studied the Bible can take a look at these things and say, well, that happened, this seems to be happening, this is happening. That means we must be there. And what am I going to do? And you provide answers to these questions.
These are tangible, detailed prophecies we're putting slides on and camera footage and images. It's really well done so people can understand this.
The Pre-Tribulation Prophecies. Here's how you can get your copy.
For the last 10 years, Bible prophecy experts Bill Salus and Pastor Tom Hughes have opened God's Word and discovered a series of little-known prophecies that have escaped the notice of most Christians. Doesn't everyone want to know what's going to happen in the future? Secreted within the pages of the Old Testament, they've discovered a roadmap that takes us through several Middle East wars, eventually leading to the Battle of Armageddon. Recent events in Israel could make us believe these end-time battles could be the start of a series of cascading wars prophesied some 2,700 years ago. Their new DVD, The Pre-Tribulation Prophecies, takes the viewer down the biblical road into the future. You may not know it, but the Bible talked about a nuclear encounter with Iran, the complete destruction of Damascus, a major attack on Israel by Russia, Iran, and Turkey, and the ongoing battle in the Gaza Strip with the Palestinians. Bill and Tom's new DVD is available for your gift of $25 or more to Prophecy Watchers, with shipping included anywhere in the USA. Just call the toll-free number on your screen or visit our online bookstore at prophecywatchers.tv. We'd love to show you how you can get this exciting DVD as a free bonus. Bill has produced a series of DVDs that cover all of the amazing end-time prophecies we see in the books of Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Isaiah, and Revelation. Now you can follow Bill's advanced research in the Now Prophecies, the Next Prophecies, the Last Prophecies, and the Final Prophecies, 4 DVDs that lay out the future for Israel. When you order these 4 DVDs for your gift of $75 or more, we'll send you Bill and Tom's latest DVD, The Pre-Tribulation Prophecies, as a free bonus, and we'll ship all 5 DVDs to you for free anywhere in the USA. Just call the toll-free number 24/7 and ask for the Pre-Tribulation Prophecies package. The Bible tells us to watch for the signs that indicate the return of Jesus is very near. Israel, as always, is the Bible's timepiece, letting us know just how close we are to the rapture of the church. Our ministry exists to warn people about the impending events that will soon envelop the whole world. God's word calls it the tribulation, the worst time in the history of the world. We want to help as many people as possible avoid the tribulation. And as we see the day approaching, we want to be an encouragement to you. God bless you for your faithful support of this vital ministry.
And I hope you will take advantage of that offer, because things are happening so fast. And I think the 3 of us, when we're off camera talking, we all agree that, wow, I never thought this would happen as fast as it's happening.
It's remarkable to watch how fast everything is developing. Gary, I would even go so far as to bring up this other prophecy that is in 1 Timothy chapter 4, and where Timothy talks about this. Let me see if I can turn here. But in 1 Timothy chapter 4, Paul writes to Timothy and says this, "Now the Spirit expressly says that in the latter times some will depart from the faith, giving heed to deceiving spirits and doctrines of demons, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their own conscience seared with a hot iron, forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from foods," or literally commanding to abstain from meats, "which God created to be received with thanksgiving by those who believe and know the truth." This goes how specific Bible prophecy is. Not only are we watching the big prophecies, things converging, things in Iran, Ezekiel 38 and so forth. We're hearing about building the temple. Again, this is a strange detail. Paul had the insight to understand that in the last days, it would be a doctrine of demons that you can't eat meat. We hear the talk about climate control, and that has now become part of the narrative. No, you're not going to be able to eat meat anymore. You're thinking, how could anyone have known this for the last days? But we're watching it all take place, which again leads me to believe, we must be so close to that trumpet sounding and we are going home. But people need to be prepared. And my hope is that those who have been Christian would wake up from their slumber, so to speak, and those who don't know Christ would understand the urgency of the times. That, listen, we need to turn to Christ because all of these things are about ready to take place.
You know, human beings are by nature, and I include myself, we are by nature procrastinators. And what you're talking about is spiritual procrastination.
Yeah.
It's easy to say, well, not yet, not yet. I don't think so. Not quite yet, not quite yet. And then bang, it's all over. And I think the not quite yet audience needs to wake up.
In fact, I think that's where we are. We are at the not quite yet, boom, we're that close. It's going to happen. It's going to happen any day now. In Romans chapter 11, Paul's very clear. He said, blindness in part has happened to Israel until the time of the Gentiles is full, and then all Israel will be saved. We can see that. Blindness in part has happened to Israel. There's a spiritual blindness with the Jewish population regarding who Yeshua is. But until the time of the Gentiles is full. As it was in the days of Noah, that door on the ark closed, guess what? That door open to the Gentile world, as it is now, is about ready to close. The time of the Gentiles is about ready to be fulfilled. We are so close.
Thanks for saying that, Tom, and I agree. And by the way, Bill, you've been working on these details for years now, and I appreciate that, and I want to just say thanks.
Thanks, Gary. Ancient biblical predictions are about to roll off their parchments and pound down on the pavement, and they will be globally impacting. And we're trying to put in this DVD what these are that the church could actually see. These are pre-tribulation prophecies. And if they want to pay attention to that, it's important because God wants them to have this information. So that's why we did this DVD. It's one of the main reasons we did it.
Bill Salus, Tom Hughes, thanks a lot, guys. I'm Gary Stearman. Hey, you keep watching. We are. Thanks for joining us on Prophecy Watchers. You can find us on the web at prophecywatchers.com, where you can sign up for our free email newsletter, or follow us at facebook.com/prophecywatchers. In the meantime, keep watching, everybody, and we'll see you soon.